Now, Jessica Yellin, founder of News Not Noise, and NewsNation contributor Colby Hall, co-founder of Mediaite, with me right now. Okay, Jessica, I'm going to start with you. We hear that Fox says they were just covering the news. This was not what Dominion is calling it. But I want to read something to you. From the lawsuit, Tucker Carlson told Sidney Powell, who is a fan of former President Trump, back in November, "You keep telling our viewers that millions of votes were changed by the software, the Dominion software. I hope you will prove that very soon. You've convinced them that Trump will win. If you don't have conclusive evidence of fraud at that scale, it's a cruel and reckless thing to keep saying it." So obviously, when you're reporting a story, when you're finding out about something, when someone's saying something on TV, you're having a discourse that you can't include in live television. There's a longer conversation to be had. Is the case here where there was just this communication happening so that fair reporting was being done, a simple back and forth, or was this a mishandling of reporting?
I think it's important to make clear to viewers that this is among the most unethical, unjournalistic practices I've ever seen in my 20 plus years working in different newsrooms across the country. This is beyond the pale if the allegations are correct. What you pointed out, there's even more than that. These documents, the court case shows that there were text messages from some of Fox's biggest talent saying privately that they know the election storyline, the fraud storyline, is flatly untrue. And yet they claim they had to tell their audience it was true in order to retain audience. And let me translate that: in order to remain profitable and dominant. In other words, they're accused of trading journalistic standards and ethics for money in the most egregious way I've seen in public in my career.
Colby, I want to get to you, but first I want to play a soundbite from Fox, former Fox host Bill O'Reilly, who spoke with our Chris Cuomo about how the network could actually come out of this unscathed. Let's take a listen.
Fox may not lose because you're going to have to show actual malice, and their lawyers are going to come in and say just what I said. The national television broadcasts are all opinion now. They are all focused to people that agree with them.
What do you think about that, Colby?
Well, there was a time when Bill O'Reilly was an extremist, and now we look back at when he was the primetime sort of host on Fox News. He was principled. He was reasonable. He was opinion-driven, but he didn't shamelessly promote lies, as Jessica very well said, in the name of profit. Look, I think journalism has changed. I don't think traditional journalism rates and is really sort of a working business model in the way that it used to be. That said, what Fox News did, or was revealed to do here, by openly lying and misleading its audience in the name of ratings because they were afraid of Trump, in particular Trump's face, is really shameful. But I don't think Fox News will be embarrassed by this because I think they're shameless. They can lie to their audience with impunity, and it's not just here. They've done it repeatedly. So yes, Bill O'Reilly makes a point that cable news has changed. Everything is more opinion in a postmodern world. However, that doesn't give Fox News a pass. I think Dominion has a really good case. I think $1.6 billion is way too high of a reward. But if I'm a Fox News exec, I'm very worried at this point.
Well, it's interesting what you said, that journalism has changed. I think all of us would agree with that. But to say that traditional journalism doesn't rate, it seems as though a lot of people I've talked to who watch the news or who used to watch the news say there isn't really a lot of options for traditional journalism anymore because everybody's becoming opinionated, and they crave those days where you could have a newsman or newswoman just tell you the straight story.
Well, I agree with that. And I think that, candidly, Dan Abrams, a good friend of mine, says that there's a marginalized moderate majority and that the current cable news landscape sort of mostly appeals to the extremes on either edge. And I agree with that. I think most people, they don't mind the analysis. They want responsible storytelling. They want the facts. I don't think Walter Cronkite could exist in today's landscape, but I also feel that it's not just Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, and Laura Ingraham. There's, I think NewsNation and CNN and MSNBC are fact-based, at least. Yes, there may be analysis and opinion dripping through some of those shows, but at least they're responsible. And, I think that can be a working model. But in a postmodern world where everything is subjective, it's a tricky thing, and we're kind of living in the future right now.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.